So first off, Jason, do you mind telling the viewers about your background? Where did you come from? Where did you grow up? And just a bit about yourself in general.
Yeah, sure. And firstly, thanks for this opportunity to talk to you. It's great. Great to talk to a younger Porsche fan. So my background is I'm English. I grew up in Southampton. Please don't hold that against me. You're born where you're born. I was a football supporter. I think I went on a terrace at what was the Dell at Southampton when I was maybe 10 or 11. And I was obviously a football supporter, a follower of Southampton until I became an investor and co-owner and director of Peterborough, and now I support Peterborough, of course. My background is I'm an engineer. I moved to Canada when I was 29, when I finished completing a PhD. I worked in the space industry for a number of years, and then I became an entrepreneur, and I've owned and run a number of successful businesses, everything from transportation to internet to telecommunications, a whole plethora of stuff.
So what made you want to run a football club?
Well, firstly, I'm part of a team that runs the football club. I mean, there's obviously 3 owners, and we've all got different strengths and abilities, and we've got a fantastic management team as well. And I mean, you asked me this question after 4 defeats in the last 5 games, so I think madness would be the answer. My wife would support that answer. But it's rare you get involved in a business that you're very passionate about, and I've been passionate for football supporter, as I said, for 40 years now, 42 years, so a long time.
So Jason, from what I've heard, you were a Southampton fan growing up, and I'm guessing you still have a soft spot for the club now. Is it true? And would you be able to tell the viewers about your time watching Southampton?
Well, I think in your formative years, as you're growing up, it's very easy to get too attached to your local team. And I was both a season ticket holder for many years until I moved to university. I was an away supporter as well. So my life growing up consisted of going to a home game on a Saturday, where we would stand on the terraces with my family, and then getting in a bus every other Saturday and going to some location. So I've travelled to most of or many of the grounds across England and Wales, and you would arrive at what was the Dell at maybe 6 in the morning or 7 in the morning, get in a bus with the away supporters and travel to the game. Obviously enjoy the game or not, and then get in the bus and go home.
So Jason, would you be able to touch on the stadium plans for the future at the Porsche? Because a lot of the fans aren't 100% sure of what's going on currently.
So with respect to the current stadium, we obviously put our plans to purchase London Road or Western Home Stadium on hold in March as a result of COVID. We've just reinitiated that, so we're in negotiations with Peterborough City Council. We're hoping to close, in the near future, broadly on the same terms and conditions that we were about to execute at the end of March. That we were due to sign, actually purchase that stadium on March 31st, and obviously COVID happened very early March. So we're hoping to close on very similar or the same terms. In terms of the new stadium, it's a 4 or 5 phase project. We've just completed phase 1, which is the development of plans, the business model, business plan, but also rough architectural design. We're working with the city now to make sure that we are in their it's got a stakeholder initiative in so much as you become part of their big city plan for the next 5 to 10 years. And we're in that plan, which is very important. And it's just a question of following through that process. A lot's happening. It might not always be visible to all Peterborough fans. There's a lot going on. We've got a small team working on that. And we're very excited about that.
So what was your dream job as a kid?
Well, that's an interesting question. I don't really know. I think as you grow up, you have lots of dream jobs. I remember going to the careers advisor when I was 16, and you haven't had this opportunity yet, but I don't know what it's like in England now. But I went to the careers advisor at Mountbatten Secondary School, which is in Rumsey, about 10 miles from Southampton, and the careers advisor advised me to become a butcher. Which was kind of interesting, really, because I had no inclination or desire to become a butcher. Nothing against butchers, but I'm afraid of the sight of blood. So it probably would not have been the right career for me. So, but growing up, I was very interested in electronics, and I was not only a football supporter, but I was a mobile radio enthusiast. So I went into telecommunications when I was 16.
So what's your plans for Porsche's Academy?
Well, very exciting plans. So we're a cat-free academy currently. We're on a path to become a Cat 2 academy. We've submitted the applications to the Premier League and FA as applicable to become a Cat 2 academy. We are putting that all together for final submission next summer. As part of that, we need to build a indoor playing facility, which will be both an indoor playing facility for our own players, our academy, and also some community use as well. So it'll be a really valuable asset to be able to use by the community when people aren't using it, in particular the school that's on the academy, or the academies on the school. So really exciting. We think that we've set the academy managers a goal to produce 3 players a year for our first team by 24-25 season. And they're on track to do that. I actually think that this year we will have 2 graduates. And for us, a graduate is somebody who plays 10 times for the first team. It's not somebody that makes 1 or 2 appearances in the EFL trophy, but it actually plays first team football. And I think Ricky J. Jones and Flynn Clark will likely achieve that goal this year, which is just fantastic. And we've had last couple of years between 10 and 15 academy graduates play for the first team, which is just amazing.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how important do you think it is for teams to bring in their youngsters from their academy?
I think it's an 8 or a 9. And I think that's right across the football pyramid. I mean, if you look at Manchester United, the value they've got out of Marcus Rashford and other players is just immense. And for us, that's multiplied. We don't have the financial resources of a Premier League team. So for us to be able to develop our own players, and then if they do really well, we wish them ever success in their future careers. They may go and play at a higher level, which obviously has a financial input on the club. In reality, there's not many things you can do as an owner of a football club to increase the prosperity of that club. There's not many revenue opportunities you have. You can increase your fan base, which we're trying to do. You can generate secondary revenues, which hopefully the new stadium will do. And you can develop your own players, which reduce your costs of purchasing replacement players, and will provide the potential for an upside to help sustain the club. So I think it's absolutely vital. I think it's also great for the fans. I can remember Alan Shearer's debut when he was 16 or 17. And okay, he'd come from Newcastle. He'd spent a year or so in our academy, and I can remember watching his debut, and he scored a hat-trick against Arsenal. Didn't score many more that season, but I can remember that. I remember Matt Letizier's debut as a semester. So I think it's great for the club. On my wall here, I don't know if you can see it, there's a Leo De Silva's shirt signed, and I think that was great for Peterborough. I mean, a local kid, I think he was 14 or 15 when he was spotted, joined our academy, and maybe hasn't had the successful career that we hoped, although there's still lots of time for him. But the club benefited immensely, both in him playing for the club and financially.
Yeah, I agree with you that it's really important for teams to bring in youngsters. And do you have any hobbies that a lot of people don't know about?
I hike. I think a lot of people know about that because I post a lot of pictures with myself and my dog hiking. I used to do a lot of canoeing. So I actually used to be a canoeing instructor. I met my wife in the south of England. Sorry, who's from the south of England. In the south of France, I was teaching canoeing for about 6 months before going back to university, and that's where we met. Almost 20 years ago now. Sorry, almost 30 years ago now. We were married for 21 years, but we met nearly 30 years ago from that hobby. So be careful what hobbies you pick, because you might end up meeting your wife.
So would you be able to touch on the school's initiative at Posh?
Yeah, I think the schools initiative has been a great success. 2 years ago, we set our schools initiative a target to go to 75 schools within the Peterborough area, or Cambridgeshire and Lincolnshire area. They thought we were nuts, but all credit to them that our Peterborough has been to all of those schools. It went to more than 75. That initiative whereby someone from the club and our rabbit go to a school, put on an assembly, which I have to say I've seen several of these. I've been to several schools myself as part of that initiative, and they're always a lot of fun. I've seen the rabbit play the piano. I've seen the rabbit do various dances. The floss, I think I've seen him do that one. A lot of fun, and then tickets are given to the participants of those assembly at the end of the assembly, and they go to one of the next 3 games with one of their parents. And it's amazing how many of those become recurring Peterborough fans. So I think we saw about a 10% increase in our season ticket base the first year, and a similar increase we would have seen the second year had it not been for COVID, obviously. So real big initiative, and we're really proud of that. In the last full year, they were on track pre-COVID to do more than 150 schools. So I think we stopped doing the initiatives in March, and we were up to about 80 or 90 schools at that time, if I recall, and we would have hit 150 schools. That is amazing, because they're basically going every day to a school.
Yeah, that is a lot of schools, and there must have been a lot of people that have decided to go to Posh and watch Posh play. And I know a few people that are Posh fans because of that. They've came into my school before, and yeah, I do remember it very well. I think it was Phil and the rabbit came in, and yeah, they gave out free tickets. A lot of my friends went to Posh, they enjoyed it. And recently they've been going again a lot more. Yeah,
we have the Junior Alliance Day as well. As part of that fans initiative, the fans get invited to go and train as a first teamer as it was called, whereby fans can turn up, have a day at the training ground, meet some players, get coached by Darren Ferguson and his other coaches. I mean, how fun is that? You imagine you turn up in the morning, you get changed, like the players would get changed. You then go and do a warm up. You then get coached. You then have lunch, and they then did a fake press interview and meet players. I mean, what a great day as a youth, girls and boys. Absolutely amazing.
So, how long have you known your current partner, Randy, for?
Sometimes I feel like I'm married to Randy, but we've worked together for about 8 years now.
So where can you see us in 5 years' time?
Well, I certainly hope and believe that we could be in a new stadium in that time. Obviously, a lot of activities needs to happen. I really believe that we're going to get promoted to the championship. I thought we would have last year for sure. We were very close, and had COVID not swept that away, I'm pretty sure we would have been automatically promoted. I think we have a good chance of being promoted this year, despite the fact that we've lost 4 in the last 5 games, or 3 in the last 4 league games. I still think we've got a good chance. It's a very competitive league. It's very tight, but there's not a lot in it, and we're only about 21% of the way through the season. So we shouldn't give up at this point, because there's still nearly 80% of the season to go. But I certainly think within 5 years we'll be in the championship, and I'd like to see us as an established championship team, and almost be like a Brentford. So as we're an established championship team that has the potential to get promoted.
So who is the best Posh player you've ever seen since you've been at the club?
That's a really good question because I like a lot of it. I really like Jack Taylor at the moment. I like Siriki Dembele. I've always liked him. I know he's not always a great. I know the Yellow Block are not always a great fan of him, but I've always liked him. So I think those guys are wrong there. But I'm going to blame Kisby for that because I think there's a shirt that we can get for that. So I like Siriki because he's just such a nice person. I've met him a few times and he's always a nice person. I loved Ivan Toney. I liked him from the first game we saw him. Not just because he could score goals, but because he was really dominant throughout the pitch. 1 minute he'd be heading the ball, the next minute he'd be passing the ball, and the next minute he'd be scoring. But we like a lot of the players. I like Ricky. I was there for his signing. I really like Ricky J. Jones. So I think they've all got their talents. We don't have that many. We don't have any really bad eggs in the group.
So a bit more of a non-related Posh question. Are you looking forward to Christmas?
Well, that really depends on what restrictions are inherent in Canada. Because right now I have my family lives in a place called Kamloops, which is about an hour and a half from where we live, and British Columbia has just introduced restrictions to try to curb spread of COVID. So if they can travel to us, I'm very much looking forward to that. If they can't, I mean, it'll still be a good Christmas. It'll be a different Christmas, probably less than we would have imagined. But I always love Christmas. Christmas is actually one of my favorite times of the year. The world slows down. You get to watch endless movies, hang out with your family. Hopefully we have snow here, which makes it a lot of fun.
So the next couple of questions for my granddad, Rob. He sent in a couple of questions for me to ask you. His first one is, given the pandemic and everything, have you still been able to enjoy Owen Posh?
Yes, but it's been more challenging, right? Because we are all dealing with, firstly, a massive loss of revenues, lots of business opportunities. And it's not just affecting Posh, it's affected some of our other businesses that we're involved in as well. So it's been a challenging time. I certainly enjoy the Peterborough games we watch. I've been to a few, so I was in the UK in September. I was lucky enough to go to 3. I had an incredibly miserable experience of driving from Stamford to Sunderland, absolutely being completely frozen. In fact, I was so cold, I drank this stuff called Bovril. I don't know if you've ever had Bovril.
No.
What can you say about Bovril? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it's for the connoisseur, but I was so cold I had a cup of this Bovril at half time and a cup of this Bovril to take in the car after a 1-0 defeat at the end of the game, because basically a stadium without fans, certainly at Sunderland, is like being in a freezer.
So what was it like watching Posh lose to Chorley and watching the team Posh lose to 89 places below us in the football pyramid?
This interview was going so well. It was terrible. But, that's the magic of the cup. Unfortunately, it was not much magic for us. It was a terrible day. All 3 of us would love to watch Peterborough go to a Premier League club, particularly if it looked like we would be able to have fans in January. So we all contemplated, let's have an away draw to Southampton, Newcastle, or Liverpool, and one of us co-owners would have had a fantastic day, and hopefully with some fans as well. But that dream was scuppered, and obviously the revenues that were attached to that, and the opportunities that were attached to that. So very disappointing. You've got to give respect to Chorley. I mean, they took their opportunity. I thought we were good for the first 20 minutes. I thought actually the game could have been over. In fact, actually the game could still have been over because Mo had a real good chance just before half time. But you've got to accept that the opposition wants to win as much as you do. sometimes things don't work out.
Yeah, so that's all the questions Rob's got for you. And the last and final question I've got for you is the last couple of guests I've got on the PFC podcast. I've asked the same one, and they've all said yes currently, Joe Den and Phil Adlam. But will Peterborough United play championship football next season?
Yes.
Yeah, hopefully we can. We're currently third in the league. Hopefully by the end of the season we'll be up there, and whether it's playoffs or whether it's automatic promotion, hopefully we'll go up. So thank you for coming on, Jason.
Yeah, you're welcome. I really appreciate it, and have a super evening.